speaking. We are currently 30,000 feet in the air, and we haven't even left the airport. We just lit the joint. Just kidding, a little pilot humor there. We like to have fun. Our destination today is Casablanca, Morocco. So everyone, sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for takeoff. We will be arriving in 6 hours.
7-footers.
Oh my God, it worked.
Oh my God, thank God. I didn't know what that meant. Oh, 7-footers. Thank you for being here. I have never been more grateful than in this moment because there's always a technical issue on my end, and it happened again. At least I'm on brand, but this was like, what, our fourth time trying to do this?
Yeah, third time's the charm today. We're making it work. It's rough, man.
Thank God. Thank you for dealing with me. And I appreciate it. I don't get it. Like, I just don't get it.
It's okay. It happens.
Consistency is key, though, and that's something that we don't have a lot of in these playoffs right now. So let's get right into it because a ton of things to talk about. But let's start on an unfortunate note that there are so many injuries plaguing some of the biggest stars across the board here. I mean, you know, obvious names like Giannis, Kawhi, and when you go by one name, you don't need a last one. How star you are. But these stars are struggling on the floor right now. John Morant with the wrist, Julius Randle with the ankle. Tibbs just said he was playing through it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, Jenna, this is, it's unfortunate because it's the end of an 82 game regular season and the start of the most important time of the year, which is the playoffs. Well, this is the worst time of the year to have your most important time because these players are dog tired, and tired players tend to get injured. This is just a fact. Like, I don't know what to tell everybody. Everybody freaks out on NBA Twitter. Oh my God, turn injuries off. I'm like, you guys, it's a broken record. Every year it's the same thing. Injuries decide this, and fatigued players tend to get hurt. This is what happens when you compress 82 games into a season and you're playing 4 times in 7 nights. This is the reality. And now you want them to turn it up for the playoffs? Yeah, injuries bound to happen.
It is. And unfortunately, it happens. It's part of the postseason. It's part of why certain teams make it to certain positions and spots. It is what it is. Tough reality. But, you know, that requires other guys to step up. And that's exactly what is happening with this Lakers team a little bit. Seeing a lot of unexpected great performances by guys like Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. And, of course, the consistency with LeBron James is just incredible. But wait a minute. First of all, a ton of Lakers fans didn't even think they'd be here right now in this Grizzlies matchup. Of course, again, with that injury stuff happening, John Morant, that kind of helps the Lakers case a little bit too. But let's talk about this series here because Lakers are up 3-1. Huge game last night. We're recording this on a Tuesday. That was Monday in game, what was it, 5, 4?
Game 4.
Yeah. Can they really do this though? Can they really close this out and get to the next round?
Look,
and
Jenna,
Anthony Davis not be injured?
Historically, teams that are up 3-1 gone on to win the series 96% of the time. Now, we have seen teams come back from 3-1, most notably the Cleveland Cavaliers with LeBron James did it against the Golden State Warriors. That same postseason, the Golden State Warriors came back against the Kevin Durant-led Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals from a 3-1 deficit. So it is possible. LeBron had an excellent game. He's had a pretty good series. Look, he's still old and doing old things. Like, he's saving himself. You can see it. Like, he can't blow by guys anymore. I was going to be like, yeah, but you're at the end of that game. He blew by 3 guys. Yeah, because he saved himself all game because he couldn't do it for 4 quarters. He had to wait until the end, right? This is what old people do. They wait and conserve their energy. But the reality of this situation, Jenna, is, you know, and you mentioned Rui Hachimura and Austin Reeves. Yeah, Rui Hachimura came crashing back to earth in last night's game. He wasn't going to shoot 70% from 3 all postseason, as I said. Like this, the reality is you are what your numbers say you are, right? Anybody can get hot for a game or two. He's a career 29% 3-point shooter or whatever it is for a reason, because that's what you do historically. But the reality of that is playoffs are small sample size. So for any 1 game, 2 game, 3 games, sure, you can get hot, right? It's like the idea of like heads or tails, right? Everybody knows that like within 100 flips, the odds are it's going to be pretty close to 50-50, right? Because there's only 2 outcomes, 50 heads, 50 tails. But it doesn't go every other heads, tail, right? Tails may come up 10 times in a row. That doesn't matter. Heads is not worried. its time will come, right? It will eventually average itself out. And this is what we're going to see with Rui and these guys. But Jenna, this is less about what the Lakers are doing and Anthony Davis being injured and blah, 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 and all that. The Memphis Grizzlies, Jenna, have been the better team all season long. And I still believe they are the better basketball team, but they are an immature basketball team. And
they are.
This is what happens when you don't recognize the gravity and seriousness of the moment you are in. The Grizzlies are without Steven Adams and Brandon Clark, right? Now, for you casual fans out there, you're like, those guys don't matter. And that's because you guys don't know what you're watching when you watch basketball, right? You only care about who scores points. That's all that most people see. Oh, who scores? Steven Adams is the best offensive rebounder in basketball, probably the best screen setter in basketball.
Those two on the floor, this series wouldn't be 3-1.
Correct. Adams opens up so much space for Ja on the pick and roll, for Desmond Bane on the pick and roll, all these guys. And he cleans up so much with the offensive rebounds, giving this team second, third, and fourth chance opportunities. Defensively, he allows Jaren Jackson Jr. to roam and be that defensive player of the year that he is, as opposed to now he's got to hug close to the basket because nobody else can rebound on this team. This is what he does. And Brandon Clark is the first big off the bench in their normal rotation. Well, now he's not here. So he is not the first big off the bench. This is the challenge now with this team. And so when you have those factors, Jenna, as a team, your realization needs to be, oh, no, we're down two important guys. We need to be sticking to our game plan, value every possession. This is serious. This ain't the Houston Rockets on a Tuesday night. Okay, this ain't the Detroit Pistons on a Thursday. No. This is the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs with LeBron James, who has more collective playoff experience than everybody on our roster combined, right? We have to be heightened about what we're doing.
1,000%. And Steven Adams is the only veteran on that team.
No
Not
doubt.
to mention, speaking of maturity, let's just also note that this really pisses me off. It rubs me the wrong way. Dylan Brooks, and I think it was maybe Ja Morant after the last game, skipping media availability. What? Because you're down now? You're going to skip media availability?
If you're going to talk the talk, Jenna,
it's tough.
You got to walk the walk.
Exactly.
If you're going to talk all that junk and smack, you got to put 10 toes down and back it up. You stand out there and you're grittying when you're winning, but when you're losing, you got to face the piper, right? And again, onto this maturity thing, you mentioned Dylan Brooks. This whole villain person, I want to be clear about something. Dylan Brooks is a very excellent defensive basketball player, and he matters to what this team does. But when he gets himself kicked out of a game, now you're hurting your team. Because now that's one less body and defender we can have to put on LeBron or switch out onto whomever, right? You're hurting your team here. Then you look at Ja Morant. Ja, I get it. Your superpower is you can get to the rim and jump out of the building. My guy, not only is your hand messed up and who knows how you're going to land, you are not going to jump over and posterize everybody. Stop doing that when you get to the rim. LeBron said it after the game. He's like, oh no, I'm not going to, nobody can meet with Ja at the summit. Like, you're stupid. Like, you can't jump with that dude. He's too athletic. So all LeBron does, again, because of that collective experience and know-how, I'm just going to get into my legal guarding position. And this young, immature player, because he wants to posterize and look cool, he's going to try to jump over me. And he's going to run into me, and I'm going to fall down. It's going to be an offensive foul. Why does that matter? Late in a game that went to overtime, Ja did that 2 times, and he turned the ball over. That's 2 wasted possessions. Guys, possessions matter in the postseason. That's the difference between being up 6 with 6 seconds to go and being up 2 with 6 seconds to go, right? Up 2, Lakers can tie the game. Up 6 with 6 seconds, highly unlikely. The playoffs are all about being poised and being mature. And this team, Jenna, they are not that. They feed off of Brooks and Ja's behavior, and that immaturity's got to stop. And we haven't even gotten into all the off-court stuff, which we talked about on previous episodes. Look, whenever the playoffs ends for this team this season, whether it's this, and I'm not giving up on them this series. I still think they can come back and win 3 straight. But whenever it ends for them, there needs to be a serious sort of looking in the mirror and realizing, okay, we got Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Desmond Bane. That's the core of a team. 2 guys that are 23, 1 guy that's 24. We put the right pieces around, we can be a serious contender and be a championship contender in this league. But we got to grow the hell up. This ain't This ain't the regular season. It's not just about talking and swag. No, you have to execute when it matters. And this team is not executing at all when it matters. And that is a sign of immaturity.
Yeah. Amen. Couldn't agree more. So hopefully we'll see if they could turn it around. I don't know about that one though.
I'm gonna give it to them because that they can, because again, they've been the better team all year. And now you notice we're no longer 2 days rest in between games anymore. It's now every other game. LeBron is already conserving his energy. AD's already banged up. That's one less day of recovery, and you got to fly back and forth from Memphis to LA. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how those old legs and those hips are feeling late in the fourth. All right, well, we'll take a look and see.
Oh, you're too much. You're too much, but you're so damn right. So annoying. All right, let's go to the East. I've had enough of this conversation. The Heat and the Bucks. Interesting stuff here. This game 4 was so good. Jimmy Butler, historic playoff performance. I think I saw that he tied for the 4th highest scoring playoff performance.
Jimmy was fantastic. Ever? Jimmy was
great. Yeah, to take that series lead 3-1, Miami, the number 8 seed, on the brink of eliminating the top seeded Bucks. Whoa. If I was a bettor,
you wouldn't have had this one. You wouldn't have had this one, right?
Absolutely not.
Well, look, let's be fair, right? Giannis did get hurt in game 1, so he missed most of game 1, did not play game 2.
Middleton fouled out last
right. Did not play game 3, right? Okay. He came back for game 4. What do we always say about Miami? Man, no matter what happens with the regular season record, or like, that's just a team you don't want to play in the playoffs. And it's not because they have some magic elixir juice or whatever. It's that the persona they embody come postseason, led by Jimmy Butler and head coach Eric Spoelstra. First of all, Spo is arguably the best in-game tactician in the league, and he will try, like Ty Lue, pragmatic. He's not wedded to like, well, this is what I do. I'm not changing. I'm inflexible like some people, bud. He will try whatever is going to get my team to win. I don't care. He's humble in that way. And Jimmy, as you remember, Draymond says there are 82 game players and 16 game players. Well, Jimmy Butler is for sure a 16 game player, right? In that he picks and chooses his spot over the course of the regular season, because it's like, I can't. The reality is, guys, you cannot kill yourself all 82 games. I think you're going to do the same and repeat that come the playoffs. There's not enough energy in the tank, unless you're doping, which, by the way, something you all should think about. But anyway, and by you all, I mean fans. Think about why does that guy always look so great in the world? You might wonder. Anyway, the reality of it is that Jimmy picks and chooses his spots, right? About where he's going to attack and do his thing. And this was a massive performance with, again, going against Drew Holiday, who's arguably the best perimeter defender in the NBA. And Drew was playing great defense. Jimmy's offense was just better. Sometimes you just tip your cap like, all right, what am I going to do? Now, the Bucks had some serious gaffes in this game, just doing a lot of dumb stuff. That third quarter especially, I was like, what are you guys actually doing? They had no answer for Brook Lopez, and I'm surprised Bud didn't say, wait a minute, this team is small. I'm just going to pound them to death with Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis because they don't have size. I'm going to foul everybody out of this game. But, Bud doesn't like to change on the fly. That's not his thing, right? This is what we do. We run our system. It's like, all right, well, sometimes you got to realize what your advantages are and do that. But Jimmy was awesome. And now the Heat up 3-1 on the Bucks. And this series is not over either. The Bucks have been the best team all season by far. But look, Middleton has not been great. And that he needs to be good for them to be championship contending. Look, to beat any team 3 straight is tough. Yeah. It's really hard. And this Bucks team is good. Giannis is going to come out and do some things, and he's a runaway freight train. And look, Jimmy's not going to have another 56 performance in game 5. That's highly unlikely. I'm not saying he'll have another big scoring night this series, but it's unlikely in the next game he replicates what he did in the last game. All right. And this will be in Milwaukee. So we'll see how the Heat handle playing on the road. I'll remind you, look, the Heat still struggled to score. Jimmy was basically the only person who was scoring. Nobody else doing anything.
20 points straight.
Right. They have no Tyler Hero. He's out. Kyle Lowry couldn't hit a shot. Bam was, I don't know what Bam was doing. Like, right. Exactly.
Bam needs to get it together.
So this is, but again, kudos to the Heat and Jimmy and Spo for doing their due, taking advantage, up 3-1. They're in the driver's seat now. Now the Bucks got to beat them 3 straight times.
Absolutely.
Can it happen? Sure. Chances are slim, though.
And, not to jump ahead, but if the Heat eliminate the Bucks, I mean, look at what this does to the playoff picture.
Oh, Jenna, we might be turning back the clock. And the teams in the conference semifinals in the East could potentially be Knicks, Heat. Talk about old school 90s ball, and Celtics, Sixers. Talking about old school 1980s ball. I mean, listen.
Existed then, but I've read about it.
Yeah. Oh, I remember those days. And let me tell you, woo, that was, as they say, an old-fashioned slobber knocker, as they like to say, right?
Oof.
Just a lot of physicality, and these are big teams, strong teams that guard, play very good defense. This is what a lot of you old heads, I mean, I'm an old head technically, but a lot of you old heads say you love about basketball. You want to go back to that. Well, you could have your wish. Might set the game of basketball offensively back 3 decades, but this is we could potentially have this in the next round. But some teams that take care of business first, so let's not jump ahead of ourselves.
Yes, of course. All right, let's talk about this, though. The Celtics, the Nuggets, and the Suns can all close out their series tonight. And that's when we're recording this on Tuesday, a bunch of game
3-1
fives.
Series. Yep, game 5s. And Jenna, honestly, I expect all 3 teams to close out. The Celtics don't want to fool around and play with their food because the Sixers are home and they're waiting, right? They swept the Nets on Saturday. They've been off since Saturday. It's Tuesday, right? And that series won't start, I don't think, until Friday or Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll be a nice full week off for them. And Joel Embiid is hurt for Philly. So Philly's hoping Atlanta steal another game, stretch this series out, make Boston work a little bit harder. If nothing else, so Joel can get some more rest. But I do think the Celtics realize the urgency of the situation and they take care of business. The Nuggets and Suns are interesting, Jenna, because to me, this looks like this is the next logical matchup in the next round. Nuggets are up 3-1 on the Wolves. Suns up 3-1 on the Clippers. Look, as great as Russ has been playing, the Suns are just too much. Their 3 stars are clicking and doing their thing. I see them closing it out tonight. I see the Nuggets closing out the Wolves as well. The next round, the winner of Suns Nuggets, Jenna, to me, I think will win the Western Conference. As it stands right now, those are the best 2 teams in the West playing basketball right now.
Yeah.
The winner of that series will win the Western Conference. And then on Wednesday night, the Knicks up 3-1 on the Cavaliers. Surprising. Who would have thought? But Jenna,
surprising because the way that Cavs team played all season.
But you know what I've noticed from this Cavs team, Jenna? The playoffs, I mentioned about how the Grizzlies, they're acting like this is a Tuesday night against the Houston Rockets. The Cavaliers as a collective have not shifted into playoff mode. This isn't, it's all right, we got 4 games next week. No, my guy. You lose 4 games, that's it. Season over. Right? You're going home. Or as a TNT guy say, you're going fishing. Right? So they have not met and matched the Knicks' collective effort and force. And that's what the Knicks are just out hustling them and outplaying them at every level. And it's showing up in the key stats, the key hustle stats. Offensive rebounds, loose balls, all those things that show who wants it more. I just talked about the Grizzlies to start the show. Every possession matters. You cannot kick away possessions. And the Knicks are playing shout out to my partner David Thorpe on True Hoop, who said one team realizes there's a 5-alarm fire in the house and they're getting the fuck out. The other team is folding clothes, putting it inside their suitcase. It's no. The house is burning the fuck down. You have to respond in kind. The Cavaliers are not. The Knicks are. They're up 3-1. Look, the Cavs have been better all year. Donovan Mitchell missed some makeable shots in the last game. But Jenna, winning 3 straight, the way this series is going right now, the tenor of it, I don't see it. Look, it could happen. And I don't want Knicks fans to get ahead of themselves. The most important game is game 5, winning that game. When you have a team on the ropes, you do not want to give them life. You want to knock them out.
Exactly. And again, conversation for the future, but it will be interesting if the Knicks do eliminate the Cavs, what type of conversations this creates around Donovan Mitchell.
Well, I'm not going to jump the gun and say, because everyone in the history of basketball has had a bad playoff series. It's fine. It's just part of life. Like, you're not going to be awesome all the time. It's just the nature of the playoffs, small sample size. You pick a bad time and have 5 bad games. It happens. Like, people aren't, no one's perfect. LeBron's had bad playoff games. Michael Jordan's had bad playoff games. Like, it happens. Series. Like, sometimes you're not good,
I love it.
for whatever reason. So, I wouldn't write Donovan off yet. The big thing, Jenna, is Donovan has experience in the playoffs, but the Cavs as a collective, they do not. They're limited in this environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this is playoff lessons. This is how you learn. You get reference points. You're like, oh, because when you were younger, people would tell you things like, oh, well, Jenna, wait till you experience, and you'd be like, yeah, whatever you say, old people. And then now you experience it, and you're like, oh,
at least 10 times a day I have those.
You're like, damn, they were right. Same thing. I can tell you how intense the playoffs are, but until you experience it for yourself, you don't know. Well, now they know.
Would have been a good time to have Kevin Love on your team.
Might have.
Just saying. Speaking of that, he's really got to step up now with Hero out.
Yeah, for sure. Got to hit some shots. Got to hit shots.
All right, let's stick in the West and talk about this Warriors-Kings series that is now tied 2-2, which this could have gotten so bad for the Warriors, but for some reason, it always works out. Steph is saving the day. Draymond Green, that suspension could have really hurt them, and it didn't. They won without him in Game 3. In Game 4, he comes off the bench. He says it's his idea. He comes back calmer, cool, more collected, and says it was his suggestion. The Dubs were good. What's the deal with the Dubs? Because now the Kings, De'Aaron Fox, that index finger's fractured, I'm sorry, and he's still going to play in
might
Game
as well
5.
be broken, right? Fracture means broken. Right.
Yeah, whatever. Who's the doctor here?
No, I will say this. Steph saved the day. Well, Steph actually almost threw the game away, right? Calling a timeout he didn't have.
You don't got no timeouts, bro.
What did I start the show saying, Jenna, about tired players? They get injured, right? Well, do you know what physically tired players often do? They make mental errors because they're just exhausted. And there were mental errors all over the end of that game by everybody on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk inexplicably lost their minds for 2 seconds, not realizing, oh shit, I was guarding Steph Curry. Everyone knows when you're guarding Steph Curry and you go and a screen coming, you stay attached and you go over the top. You don't go under or around. Why would you? This is Stephen Curry we're talking about. They lost their minds for a second, forgot who they were guarding. Mm-hmm. You forget because you're exhausted, because you're playing heavy minutes. Steph calling timeouts when he doesn't have any. Kicking the ball out of bounds, like just a host of mistakes. And this is what happens when players are tired. The Kings will be kicking themselves because that's a game they could have won, gone back home up 3-1. Now the champs are like, oh, we're even now. Now it's the best out of 3. Can the Warriors win one game on the road? And it seems like the Dubs live this charmed life, Jenna. Oh, another player that's tough to guard. He's injured. Well, I always say this, Jenna, and you know it. Luck plays a much bigger part in who wins than people want to give credit to. It doesn't mean the Warriors aren't good. You have to be good enough to take advantage of the luck, but you need luck. And injury luck, when it happens, when the other team's best player gets hurt, particularly on a broken finger on his shooting hand, that's a nice break, no pun intended, for you, right? As the opposing team. It works out well, right? And Draymond with his, his teetering. Once again, the Dubs save him. He does his whole thing, and he's like, he gets everybody riled up. He gets tossed, suspended. Dubs win the game anyway. He's back, doing his thing. Draymond, by the way, was awful in Game 4 offensively, but he made 3 of the greatest defensive plays you'd ever see down the stretch.
Yes,
and this is who Draymond Green is. Like, for all of the ills and things he does wrong, arguably the greatest defender of his generation. Like, he's just.
Yes.
And what makes him so good, Jenna, is his processing speed. He processes everything faster than everybody else. That's how he's able to blow up all your offensive sets, because he already sees where you're going and what you're doing. I don't know if you caught this. When Kerr, speaking of another person making an error, he calls timeout to challenge. If they lose the challenge, they have no timeouts left, right? On the Kevon Looney illegal screen. That's what the refs called.
Yeah.
Draymond is seen saying to Kerr, no, he was moving. Illegal, don't challenge. Listen, I know I'm listening to Draymond in that instance because he saw it, right? Draymond saw and knows And besides, who sets more illegal screens than Draymond? He knows. No. He was moving. Don't challenge. Kerr challenged anyway. No timeouts left. All right, here we are.
Incredible observation. And also the part where he was on the floor for 60 seconds after his suspension and got a tech.
Yes. I mean, listen, this is the Tao Draymond, right? This is who he is. He is a extremely valuable employee for his organization, but he is a difficult employee, right? Yeah. And this is the gift and the curse. You take all of that because of all the goodness he brings to you. That's why you put up with it, because you don't win and do all the things without him. And he knows that, right? And this is the value that he provides. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Look, what I've been impressed with is the Kings fight, Jenna.
Yeah. Even seeing De'Aaron Fox chirp at
Draymond.
Draymond like that. Like, we haven't seen that out of him. Like, yes.
For a young team to keep punching back after the Warriors go on runs, that's impressive, because we've seen veteran teams wilt when the Warriors go on their run and like, oh, fuck, Steph, Clay, whatever, it's over. The Kings kept punching back every time. Warriors going to run, Kings answer. Regardless of what happens in this series, this team their future is looking bright, and this is a extremely valuable experience for them and reference points that none of them have, because none of that, besides Harrison Barnes, nobody has playoff experience on that team. Yeah. So this is all valuable for them. And again, assuming health going forward next season, they'll be that much better for having gone through, as I said before with the Cavs, this is what the playoffs are like. Oh, this is what it's like going up against the defending champs, right? In the playoff setting, not in a regular season. You got to see it and experience it to truly understand. They've done that. They understand that now. And look, this series isn't over yet. It's not over.
No, it's not. For sure. And to experience it too, especially going against the Warriors, that is a type of learning experience that you cannot just think about.
You can't replicate it. You can't man make it. You have to go, the saying, you get forged through the fire. That's how iron gets forged. This is how you get better. As a playoff performer, you have to go through the fire. Well, the fire is playing the defending champs at home. And now this is another test for them. 2-2, the champs won 2 straight. You are now in a must-win game 5 at home. You're feeling pressure because if you go back to Chase Center down 3-2, it's a wrap. So you have to win game 5 at home. They've never experienced that before. Well, they're experiencing it now. Let's see how they respond to it.
Light that beam. Light that beam. I'm so glad that De'Aaron Fox is having this moment. It is so important.
And Jenna, he's improved tremendously. I want to give De'Aaron Fox his props. The NBA's inaugural Clutch Player of the Year.
Yes.
He worked on his game. And I mean this, of course, in the best possible way. I didn't know he had this in him. Shut up. And
he was really in Sacramento.
And this, I mean, Jenna, he's a motherfucker. And I mean that in the best possible way.
Yeah.
Like how Steph is a motherfucker. Like how Giannis is a motherfucker. Like how Joel Embiid is prime LeBron, KD. These are killers, right? These are fucking killers. And listen, De'Aaron Fox, he is broken and he's shown me, he's a killer too. And how I know is the Warriors said, oh no, we're doubling his ass. Somebody else got to beat us, not this dude. When that's happening, that's how you know. Because they know we can't guard him straight up, right? We can't.
That's
it. And so kudos to De'Aaron Fox, another step in his maturation and development as a player. And it's important that he continues to improve and the Kings around him improve. That's going to buoy them forward.
For sure. Congrats to him on that Clutch Player Award. And also congrats to Lauri Markkanen.
Most improved.
Yes. Serving his country in Finland right now, right? Yeah. So great stuff there.
Yeah,
love to see you guys.
Lauri had a great summer at Eurobasket, and we said, he can come in. He's now shown, okay, I can be the number one option on the team. He's super skilled, 7 foot, he's, you gotta call the 7-Footers Basketball Podcast because we like 7-footers with skill. Lauri Markkanen is one of them.
Exactly.
We might have to change out our background. We got Shaq, Kareem, Ralph Sansom and Arvydas Sabonis and Akeem. We may have to put like the new breed of 7-footers back there. Change
I'm
it
not
out.
mad at it. I
Yeah,
am
yeah.
not mad at it. All those guys.
No disrespect to the OGs, of course.
Of course, and all those guys were deserving. Jalen Brunson. Who am I missing?
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA.
Yeah. Even though we've talked about this.
Well,
Like,
SGA,
he's always been doing it.
I was gonna say SGA was good last year. He just didn't play enough games. Like he would have been all NBA last year. He was that good last year. But now we're gonna see it. Like he's gonna make an all NBA team this year.
All right, guys. Well, the next time we talk to you guys, we're gonna have so many teams that have closed out their series, and we'll be in the second round. Yeah, we will be moved on to the next round. So stick with us because it's only gonna get better, and we can't wait.
As always, you know where to find us: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, SoundCloud. At 7-Footers Pod on Twitter, at 7-Footers Podcast on Instagram, at JS Hector, at Jenna Lemoncelli. And until next time, everybody, peace.
Spent a couple years out here with these raps, trying to have a plan that we made come true. Applied to some jobs, but I ain't hit back.